What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar here. I've tried to make this video a few times. It's hard, man. Today's attitude brought to you by Cider. It's an apple cider with no name. There is a name, I just can't remember it. It's definitely not Cider. But anyways, I want to talk about this bear market in Bitcoin and how it's potentially different than any bear market we've had before. I'm going to try to make this quick. I'm going to go over some points. I'm not going to go over all of them. I like to ramble. We're going to cut it there. So, first and foremost, on the monthly scale here, we're looking at the monthly on Bitcoin. This is the short-term RSI. This is I guess you can't see it, but here, let me double-click it. The input is 10. So every 10 months, you get a read on here. It's the average of every 10 months RSI. Anyways, on the short-term RSI, as I like to call it, we've never been this low before. We've also never found resistance off of this 40 zone where we've previously found support. We found support once, twice, and now resistance. That's not a good thing. We're at the lowest points in the RSI we've ever been, and normally whenever we do something like this, when we're in the bearish control zone, which is below the 40, and we reject it to confirm that we're in the bearish control zone, normally, just like here, whenever you find support off of the bullish control zone right here, we go into the overbought territories. You find support, you go into the overbought territories. You find support, you go into the overbought territories. Just like that, we find resistance. We're probably going to go in the oversold territories. That does not excite me because being how high we are right now, being at like a 35, to get all the way down to 30 would mean that we're going to have another big drop or at least months of sideways with a slight downside inclination. We're not talking about that though. We're talking about what's different in this bear market. First and foremost, resistance off of this line, never been done before. Lowest points in the RSI, never been done before. Okay, so there's that. One thing that is different in this bear market compared to everything else. What's another thing that might be different? Well, if we look at the price, strictly speaking, you can see here we had an all-time high. When we broke above it, we never came below it again. In fact, I'm going to draw a line at this all-time high. You can see we broke above it. We never touched it again. We had the next cycle's all-time high. This was the cycle's all-time high. Yes, this was a high. This was a peak. It was a stopping point, but you can see it's a whole process of this move. And so this high where it stopped at, once we broke above it, just like this time when we broke above it, we never saw it again. We broke above it, we never saw it again. We came back down, but we never saw it again. With this high, with this next high, we have a first. And that's with this bear market. The first time ever, it's another thing that's different in this bear market. It's the first time that we've ever gone below a previous cycle's all-time high. So we've never done that before. So that's two things. Price is indicating to us and the RSI is indicating to us that we've never done before. Speaking about price and how it's doing things we've never done before, let's go to the first, or the all-time low, which for Bitcoin back in the early days was apparently at 1 cent. Here we went below the 236 on this fib, but we didn't hit the 382. We were kind of in the middle of it. Cool. All right. From the next low to the next high, again, same thing. We went below 236, didn't quite hit the 382. Cool. All right. Fair. What's the next one? We go to the low to the all-time high. We went below the 236 again. We actually found support on the 382 this time. Cool. All right. Awesome. That's the first time we ever went that low, but we were still in that realm in between the 236 and the 382 like we've been in every bear market. This time, however, we're actually below the 382. We've never been below the 382 on a major macro scale measuring lows from a cycle to highs of a cycle. And in this first case, the all-time low, the very all-time low, which I think is a price to be respected. 1 cent, it's a price to be respected. Even if it wasn't 1 cent, you know, let's say that it wasn't 1 cent and it was, whatever that is, 3 cents. You know, same difference, whatever. We've never been below the 382, ever. And with this bear market, we are. So we're below last time's all-time highs. On a monthly scale, we're at the lowest reads on the RSI that we've ever been. We found resistance on the bearish control zone, which is not a good thing. We've never done that before. And on a fib scale, we're below the 382, and not just below the 382, but if we zoom it in here, we're going to get real close and personal, y'all. We can see that we wicked up once, twice, 3 times, and we closed below it here. For the last 4 months, we've been rejecting the 382. Where before we found support on it here, and it sent us all the way up on this magnificent rally up to $69,000. We're now finding resistance on it at the 382, which is also around our previous all-time highs. It's not good. It's really not good. So that's 3 things that's different that we've never done before. We can keep going. On a weekly scale, the long-term RSI here, this one is the 1, 2, 3 RSI, the inputs. I call it the long-term RSI because it takes 123 weeks, 123 iterations to form it, versus, the short-term RSI, which is what most people use. It's 10. I use it too. I'm not saying most people. I mean, like all of us. That's the normal type of RSI. I don't see too many people use the long-term RSI. I use it. I find it to be useful at times, but by itself, I don't know if it would be useful. It's useful with this MA and it's useful with this RSI. By itself, I don't think I would find as much use for it. Anyways, right, long-term RSI. On a weekly scale, on this long-term RSI, we've never been this low before. That's another thing. That's a first. Literally in all of Bitcoin's history, and since 2012, since this first came out, we've never been this low before. And in fact, we are finding resistance now on an area where we once found support many times. And actually, I'm going to make this line a little tighter right there. Look at how clean that is. This is not, oops. This is not good, guys. It's not good. Because not only are we doing things that we've never done before, but we are basically doing the opposite of what we've done before. Instead of finding support on key levels, we're finding resistance. We found resistance there. We found resistance on the short-term RSI, on the monthly, there at the 40, right? We found resistance on the fib at the 382, remember? Like, this is not good. This is not a culmination of good things. Russia's going to war, or is in war with Ukraine. They're attacking Poland. I don't know, who really knows how much that has to affect everything. But crypto's never been. Here's another thing. Here's another thing that's different about this bear market than any other bear market. You want to guess what it is? I'm going to tell you what it is. We're going to compare it real quick. SPX, S&P 500, and we're going to put it on the log scale. Oh man, it won't let me. I don't know if this looks as good. But crypto, okay, so crypto, anytime, you can tell the S&P here is in some uptrends. We have the COVID crash, but crypto's never been in a bear market. This was a poor example. I'm sorry, guys. It didn't come out the way. Normally it lets me choose if I want it on a different scale, but it didn't this time. What I was trying to say is crypto, Bitcoin specifically, has never been in a bear market, while the stocks have also been in a recession. And we are in a recession. The president literally had to change the definition of a recession because it happened, and he didn't want to admit that we were in a recession in his candidacy. At least that's my opinion. I'm not trying to go political here, but he literally changed the definition of a recession because we met that definition. And Bitcoin has never been in a bear market, while also, I mean, it's never existed in a recession. It's existed in black swan events like the COVID crash. It's been around while stock markets have had volatility, but never in a technical recession, which we are in right now. That's another thing that's different. Could this bear market being that there's all these things that, even though most people won't admit that this bear market's different than any other bear market, could it be? Could it be different? And could we expect different results? Maybe. It's possible. I want to say again, on the RSI, with weaker readings come weaker moves. And by weak moves, I mean big downside moves. We moved sideways here in Bitcoin for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On this 6th month here, we broke out. We just broke out of it, guys. On a weekly scale, you can see it better. On a weekly scale, we put a line here. We held above this since June, late June. Here we are in late November, I guess the very beginning of November, we broke through it Do you think 2 weeks later we're done with this now? Do you think as we're going lower right now, does this look like we're done with this move? We barely have gotten into the oversold zone. Do you think we're done with this move? I don't think so. I really don't think so. When have we ever gotten this low in the oversold zone and not gone lower? Okay, the COVID crash was one example, but to be fair, that was a very extreme drop with a very extreme recovery. This wasn't that extreme, though it was big. It was a big dump. There was no range developed here. This was kind of sporadic, right? In a downtrend, it was the mark of the end of a downtrend. This had a clear range that we just broke out of, you know? This here, okay. So right here, we got into the oversold zone with this big candle. We did move sideways for a little bit, week after week, but it did go lower 3 weeks later. It did go lower, undeniably. It didn't go much lower, but it did go lower. Could we go lower? I think we could go lower. Maybe not much lower, but we're definitely going to go lower. Or maybe not definitely, but possibly going to go lower. If you've watched this channel for some time, you know that I like this price right here at, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Come on, man. I'm going to clean this price up. I like this price at 13,870 right here. I'm going to make the line, let's make it purple. 13,870. I like that line right there. And I forget what this white line's for, but we're going to delete that. I think we could go that low. Could we go just a little bit lower, form some bullish divergence on a weekly scale, form some bullish divergence on a daily scale? We could. There's some other stuff I want to talk about. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe on a monthly again. I don't know, man. Oh yeah, here's another thing we've never done before with Bitcoin. We've never had a double top like this before. Blow off top, blow off top, blow off top. We've never had a double top. We've never had this much time to distribute out of the market, or for people to be tempted to buy at the highs of the market. You know, we've never had that much. Here's another thing that's different with this bear market compared to any other market. Bitcoin dominance. We have been down here in the bellows below 50% for this whole bear cycle, basically. Like literally, since before the bear market even. November 2021, this is when it started. We haven't been above 50% in a very long time, guys. The last bear market in crypto ended in December of 2018, which on this chart, December of 2018, was up here at 50%. It was actually at the lowest, it was at 53%, 53.5. At the highest, 57. Or I guess 50, what would that have been? Yeah, 58, basically 58. We were up higher. Bitcoin moved down here in its bear market, but it came up right before the bottom. And what happened during this time, again, or not again, what happened during this time is that Bitcoin went down in price, but up in dominance. How does this happen? Well, if altcoins, if all these other coins go down in price harder than Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin's losing 10% a day, if all coins are losing 50% a day, Bitcoin's market dominance is going to go up. It's going to. It's like it's falling, but everything else is falling faster. And that's what we're seeing here, basically. Because again, if we go back, you can see here from August of 2018 till January of 2019, Bitcoin had red months. But in August of 2018 here, that was a 9% gain in dominance. And it went even higher after that. It maintained this range. It kind of moved sideways in dominance, and it even went up after that. But while losing price, it went sideways in dominance, meaning that it maintained its dominance. It lost price, but everything lost price quicker. Could that happen now? Could Bitcoin go up in price, still lose value, but everything just loses value quicker? It could. But just for example, this is the lowest that we've been in dominance for this long. We've never been below the 50% line in dominance for this long ever in Bitcoin's history. It's, you know, and it's not necessarily a really good metric to go off of. I gotta admit, this chart does look like it wants to go lower at some point. But what I'm trying to say by bringing this up is that I think dominance will have to go up before we finish this bear market, before Bitcoin can start to recover properly. And what that means is altcoins are going to lose value. We're going to get off on a little tangent here, but I just want to say, in my last bear market that I had that I experienced with all these altcoins, you see this top 100 page here, and I'm just going to click OK here. The 39th coin. There are 39 coins with at least a $1 billion market cap. There are 28 coins, let's call it 29 even, but 28, let's just say 28 because that's technically accurate, with over a $2 billion market cap. And there are more than 10 coins with over a $5 billion market cap. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. In a bear market in crypto, Polygon, Polkadot, DAI, Lido Staked Ether, Tron, OKB, Shiba, Doge even, Cardano, BNB. BNB might be the only one that actually has practical use case out of all the ones I've used listed so far. But $42 billion, that's ridiculous. Could it lose 90% of that? Could it go all the way down to a $4 billion market cap and still be worth something miraculous? Yes, definitely yes. And that's my point. That's kind of what I'm trying to address here, is that there are stocks that provide real world goods. There are companies that provide real world goods and are used daily by more people than most of these cryptos potentially ever will be, or at least currently are. And they will never achieve a market cap of multiple billions, let alone tens of billions of dollars. Could these cryptos, could these altcoins, which people really don't use, they're just buying it on a wish, right, that it's going to go to the moon, could they shit the bed more? The answer is yes. Yes, they could. Because guess what? Again, $42 billion. I don't think BNB is going to drop this low. But a $4 billion, a $4.2 billion market evaluation would be a 90% drop in this price. And a 4.2 market valuation for a cryptocurrency that's not Bitcoin is pretty outstanding. It's pretty outstanding, you guys. That's a remarkable achievement. Could all this stuff be overvalued? My thoughts are yes, especially being the fact that 39 coins, most of which the world doesn't even know exist, they're worth over $1 billion. That's just not right. It's not right. And I'm not saying all of them have to lose an immense amount of value, but the top 100, until the top 10 or like the top 20 are the only ones that have $1 billion market cap or more, I think we're going to keep going down. I really think we're going to keep going down. All right, enough of the tangent. I know that was kind of a negative note, but I want to get back to the Bitcoin price. Let's look at the charts again. So my main point is this market has the potential. This bear market has the potential. It's already set up in a position that is different than any other bear market so far. It's different in a lot of different ways, in a lot of ways, or at least a handful of ways. And for people to say that they know it's going to happen, and that this was the bottom, or that the last bottom was the bottom, it's and I mean, I tried to call the bottom. I tried to call the bottom all the way at $30,000 back when things were kind of looking positive back here. But to be fair, once we made this leg down, once I identified this 5-leg pattern right here that we're in, 1 leg down, 2 leg up, if I can draw it properly, 3, 4, it might even be here, that might be the 4th, and then we're in the 5th leg here. Once we moved down here, once I saw this, I knew we were going to have a leg 5, and this leg 5 right here, while it does meet the criteria, I don't think we're over. I think we're just getting started. And in fact, this just looks like a lack. If we were to end it right here, this is a very lackluster wave 5, and wave 5 is not lackluster. Wave 5 is very rarely smaller than wave 1. And that until we've made this leg a little bit longer, it doesn't have to go lower. It could move sideways. It could move sideways and go just a little lower. That would, that'd be fine. But until we've spent some time down here, extended this leg a little bit, I'm not convinced that this is the end of it, especially considering that we're doing things that are different in this market compared to any other market. I'm trying to think real quick if there's anything else. I don't know. Let's go. Let's see. What else could we do? I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, there's nothing really there with volume. I don't know. My main point of making this video, guys, is saying that anybody who thinks they know what's going to happen in this bear market, nobody's right, nobody's wrong. I don't know. It's hard to say, is what I'm really trying to say. It's really hard to say. But for anyone to be calling bottoms right now, I think they will be sourly misproven. Okay, let's see. Here, maybe we can get another one. Nope, I had it, but I lost it, man. I don't know. I really don't know what I was just about to say. Long story short, I do think we're going to go lower. I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen for sure, but there are a lot of things to me that make sense that we would go lower, and that this market is showing very weak indications that we've never seen before, and that could lead us to see price action that we've never seen before. And technically, we're already seeing price action we've never seen before. We're seeing it right now. We're below this previous all-time high. We broke out of the range right here, condemning us to lower price action. I mean, like the last support that we had whenever we were in this kind of range is right there at $10,800. Could we go that low? It's possible. On a closing basis, the lowest that we went was right there at $13,600, which, boom, lines up with this top right here. Basically, it's like right all in the same zone right there. Could we go in this zone? I think we will. Maybe we don't close lower than these lines. Maybe we don't wick lower than this line. I would be very surprised if we went that low, but it's possible. And being surprised when we're in conditions that we've never seen before, I think it's called for. I think it's very called for. Let me look at the Heikinashi candles real quick. Maybe that's something. I don't know. Not really much to go off of there. Let me go on a monthly. On a monthly time frame, we're kind of in a long stint of red candles. 11 bars. The last bear market we had was 13 bars. So I mean, we're kind of close to that. The longest stint we had before that was 9 bars, which were longer than now, and that's definitely shorter than 9 bars. So I don't know. I mean, in a sense, 9, 13, 11, could this go longer than 13? And especially if we take the first one into consideration. Red, until we hit the last red. That's 4 bars. It's just getting longer. Could this one be getting longer? Maybe. Could it be getting shorter? Could it be doing something different than any other bear market? Maybe. It's totally possible. We are in a very long stint of downtrend right now. And whether we're at $16,000 now, and this is the bottom, or we go down to $10,000 and that's the bottom, you can see we're definitely close to the bottom. We're definitely close to that time. We're just not. I don't think we're there yet. I think we're getting there, but we're not there yet. With this double top, especially with all this time to distribute out of the markets. Oh man, I also saw a metric where we're at like the lowest volume on exchanges for Bitcoin that's ever been. And a lot of people think that that's a good thing, right? That having all the crypto, all the Bitcoin off exchanges is a good thing. It's going to be good for the prices. My ass, man. My ass. Why why are we showing weaker indications that we've ever seen on the RSI? Why are we moving down so much? Why when FTX, I get it. I get it. It had a lot of people's money involved. Why but why when a fraudulent exchange goes down, when a person who's clearly bad for crypto and bad for the world, who's just a greedy person, why when that person gets fucked is that bad for crypto? I mean, I get why it could crash the markets real quick, but why is nobody buying right now? FTX just went down. Aside from Donald Trump or Joe Biden or whoever the next president of the United States is saying that Bitcoin is gold and we all need to buy it right now, the best thing that could have happened for crypto is that FTX went under the way it did. That same bankment fraud lost billions of dollars. That is an incredible thing for crypto. Good job, crypto. And yet we're shitting the bed. The Republican House, or the Republicans won the House, and historically when that happens, that's a good thing for the markets. And it wasn't this time. Like there's a lot of firsts that are happening. There's a lot of things that are different about this cycle. I don't want people to get too excited that we're at the bottom yet when I don't think we're showing any inclination that we are. And if we are at the bottom, if we did bottom here at 15,500, I'm sorry I'm being so negative, guys. I'm trying to be realistic with you. But if we bottomed right there, we're probably going to take at least 180 to 300 days of moving sideways. And maybe moving sideways means we go up 20%. In Bitcoin, that's not big numbers. Maybe it means we go up 30%. In Bitcoin, it's not big numbers. We're not going to see moves that take us above 30 grand probably for all of 2023. It's massive accumulation time. That's great. But this video is not being made with the intention of talking about how great it is to buy. It's made with the intention to address that we're in different market conditions than we've ever been in before, and that caution should be advised. I know everybody's talking about buying, how there's all these reasons you should be buying. And if you're looking for the long term, if you're looking to buy and hold for 5 years or more, buy. Go ahead. Do it. Don't even look back. Do it. You won't regret it at all. If you're trying to catch the bottom, if you're trying to turn profits really quick, if you're trying, like me, you're trying to not buy it too high of a price before we go lower, maybe pump the brakes. Maybe pump the brakes. I'm not saying this from a trading perspective. I am saying it from an investing perspective, because the money that I want to put in is definitely from an investing perspective. We look at this last all-time high in a monthly closing base. It lines up with this wick right here. I mean, this level, we're so close to it, man. And it lines up. It really does line up pretty well with this 0.5 area too. There's a lot going on down there. And we just broke out of this range. All I'm trying to say is be cautious, y'all. We're probably going lower. There's different things happening. We're in different market conditions than we've ever been in before, with the world economy and all the tragedies and travesties that are happening politically and economically and on a warfaring basis around the world. There's just a lot of bad things going on. We've never seen this before. Uncertainty is not good for markets. Markets like certainty. And what do we have for certainty? Well, when the next Bitcoin halving is. Certainly, the supply of Bitcoin will be cut in half by 2024 in April. So certainly, what we can certainly say is that the supply being put into the market will be cut in half. Giving the fundamental law of economics with anything, supply and demand, if the supply is cut in half, even if the demand stays the same and the supply is cut in half, price is going to go up. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. If demand drops by 20%, but supply is cut in half, price is going to go up. It's inevitable. It's inevitable, guys. So with all this uncertainty in the world, which is not good for price, we have quite a bit of time right now. We have, I think, 17 months until roughly a year away from the halving. Who knows what could happen in that time? Traditionally, we do bottom within 17 months or less. We do find a bottom within that time. But that's traditionally. We're in untraditional times. And I said 17 months or less. I'm sorry. It's normally 17 months to a year, basically, which would be, I don't know, right here. 11 months was the shortest time we've seen before. So conventionally speaking, from, let's see, I'm going to delete all this stuff. Between these white lines, from this white line to this white line and somewhere in between, in all of Bitcoin's history, from 11 months to 17 months before the next halving, that's when we've seen the bottoms. That's when we've seen the bottoms. But being that we're in unconventional territories that we've never seen before in a bear market, could we not find the bottom until later? Could we not find it till sometime after 11 months? Or I guess shorter than 11 months. It's possible. The number 8 months is coming up in my head for some reason. I keep thinking the number 8 months. If we take April 2024, we put a measurement here and we go 8 months back, that puts us in August of 2023. For some reason, I mean, that's my birth month, so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it feels so perfect. I don't know. But what I'm trying to get at is, guys, with all these things going on, don't expect anybody to know anything about what Bitcoin's going to do. We could go way lower, man. We could go. Me and a friend were talking about. I mean, he kept joking about it. I don't like the joke, but it's a real joke. We could go to $3,000. It's possible. Guess what? If we go down to let's see, if Bitcoin went down to $3,950, that's still a higher high than this high here. That is still a higher high than that high there. If it went down to $4,000, that's still a higher low, which is good ultimately for Bitcoin. Could it do that? It could. It could definitely do that. I really doubt it. I really would be surprised if it did that. But we're in conditions now that we've never seen before. Traditionally, whenever we get to on any scale of the RSI, whenever we find resistance on the bearish control zone, which is at the 40 level, anytime that happens, we go into the overbought or the oversold zone. We go below here. That's just to be expected. I don't care if this was the 4 hour, the 1 minute, the 1 month. When I see this on the RSI, I expect oversold to come in. At the very least, and I mean it, like literally at a minimum, we would bounce off of this line here. And if we bounce off of that dotted line, that would be insanely bullish. That would be a great thing for Bitcoin. That'd be a great thing for crypto. But it's a lot less likely, in my experience, than getting into this black zone. So until Bitcoin has flirted with this dotted line or gone below it, I'm not in the position to be bullishly inclined at all. And then after it does that, I'm not in the position to be bullishly inclined at all. I think we're going to move sideways for quite some time. It's going to be months. You know, bottomed here. We didn't break out really till 8 months later. Bottomed here. I mean, we had a bottom here and we kind of double bottomed, but I mean, we bottomed here. I guess we broke out. We didn't really break out till 9 months later. Bottomed here. And we broke out, it was about 5 months later. So, you know, I'm not saying it's going to take forever, but if we bottomed out here, which I doubt, but if we bottomed out here, we've still got 5 months in a range that's going to probably be below $20,000. So it's not bullish time yet. And there's no indications that this is the bottom yet. So I'm still under the impression that we will go lower. This is a very long, drawn-out video explaining that. I hope everybody has a good night. Thank you for coming. Have a great night. Take care. Adios.